Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Loanology, where I, Jonathan Wells, walk you guys through all things finance, mortgage, real estate related, and etc. But before we get started, you all know what our new tradition is, and that is creating a craft cocktail here on the air and sharing the experience with you guys. So that's going to be our running theme is craft cocktails, right? We're going to be doing that. I'm probably going to have some cocktails reappear because there's only so many different cocktails that are out there. And there's a few fan favorites, aka my favorites, aka the one that we're doing today. So I'm going to do a little what do they call that? Not like a creepy pasta, but what is that called? Whatever it is, where like I know what it's like inside joke kind of thing. I know what it is. The viewers are gonna know what it is now after today. But we are gonna be trying my favorite cocktail with my favorite bourbon, and that would be an old fashioned made with Woodford Reserve. Just straight up Woodford, nothing crazy. Don't get fancy with it. The double oaked Woodford is better for sure, but I prefer drinking that straight or on a rock. Which coincidentally, we're actually drinking this on a rock right now today. I don't know if you can hear that. But yeah, that is Woodford on a rock in a rock's glass. And let's begin. Cheers. I call it an old fashioned, but I actually just poured Woodford over a rock. Uh, yeah, I have bitters upstairs, but I'm too lazy to go get them. So this is what we're going to deal with right now. And I actually do enjoy a glass of bourbon with a big cube. So that's what we got right here today. It tastes amazing. It tastes like you are in a cigar lounge, smoking with your buddies, talking business, locking deals down, taking over the world. When in reality, you're both 18 and have $1,000 to your name combined, right? So true story. My buddy and I used to smoke cigars back before they changed the legal smoking limit from 18 to 21, and we were plotting to take over the world and yeah, smoking our stogies. So no, this is a damn good cocktail. One more sip for posterity. And yeah, if you're not on that Woodford Reserve game, get on it. So the inside joke or the reoccurring theme that we're gonna do here is not just with the cocktails themselves, right? Or not just the cocktails that we're reviewing, but we're gonna be doing reoccurring themes. So like old fashions are probably gonna be a reoccurring thing because I love those. And every time we talk about a specific loan product, we're gonna bring on an old fashioned. I think that's gonna be what we do. And then maybe every time we do a client story, we'll do like a glass of Kettle One on the rocks or something like that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to this as much as I enjoy actually creating it and talking to you here. So today we're going to talk about bridge loans, right? So I know that like this is not like probably the most sexiest podcast and the sexiest topic out there, but I want to be able to bring to you guys finance related topics in a sorry finance related topics in a very interesting, intriguing, and fun way. So, without further ado, bridge loans. All right. So first, what are bridge loans, right? So let's imagine you are going to go purchase a new home, and you already own a home, right? So I have a client that actually called me about this on Friday. We are going through everything together, helping her and her fiance get her pre-approval together. So she bought a home back in 2020 or 2021, somewhere in there, and it is pretty much doubled in value since she bought it, right? So she bought it for like let's say 180, and it's worth about 280 right now. So probably not doubled, but she made about 100 grand off of it. So her and her fiance are putting all their money right now towards their wedding. They're gonna get married in a couple of months. So they've got about maybe $10,000 to $20,000 saved right now. but they're outgrowing the space. They know they want to get out, and there's a few homes that popped up on the market that they really like. So they reached out to me for their pre-approval and asked what they could do. So they were asking, do we rent our existing home and we collect the monthly rent and we go purchase without needing without putting down a whole lot of money, or do we sell our home and then put down all of that money onto the next place? And so we talked through both those scenarios, but essentially, ultimately, they determined that they wanted to put down the money from their existing home onto the new home, right? Now, normally, what you would have to do is you have to sell your existing home, and then you would have to go purchase the new home. And sometimes those closings can line up in the same day, but it's very difficult to maneuver that process because the person you're buying your new home from might not want to wait for you to sell your existing home, and the people that are buying your existing home may not want to wait for you to go find a new home, right? So it's like this game of like you trying to appease everybody, right? And you're kind of caught in the middle. So with a bridge loan, what you can do is you can actually take out the equity of your home up to a certain percentage and use that to put down on your next home, because you're basically taking out a home equity line of credit, putting down a down payment on the next home. When your existing home sells, you then actually would pay off both those loans. You'd be left with less money, but you use that money to put it down, for your down payment on your new place. And then anybody you have left over, you can either put, down additionally on the new place, or you could pocket that and just keep it. So it's a great option for somebody if you are looking to sell your home and then go buy another place, right? Definitely think that is, a really viable option. Though, so that's the whole gist of it, right? Now, it allows for obviously flexibility of your purchase. It allows for, ease of the transaction. And it really is a good product to help you get into a new place with a lot less hassle. However, there is some downsides to the bridge loans. So the biggest downside that I see with clients that are looking at this option is, number one, in most cases, you have to have your home sold within 3 to 4 months. Now, again, that's not really that's not really out of the realm of possibility. If you have a good realtor, you're priced right, you're in a decent market, you're going to sell your home within the first probably 1 to 2 months, most likely, right? Very rarely do homes get past that 4 month range, unless, again, obviously you have the price listed too high. It's not in an area that's super desirable for that particular home. Maybe it's overbuilt for the area that it's in, and then also, if the time of year also, kind of coincides with that as well, right? Like if you're doing this in December or even in September going into the winter, you know that you're probably not going to see as many people go looking to purchase a home during that time, right? So again, those are all reasons why, you would be hesitant to do a bridge loan on that aspect of it. The other aspect too is the cost of it. It's not super expensive. You're not getting raked over the coals either, but you are obviously paying more in fees to do that, right? And so by paying more in fees, obviously that you get less of your equity back. And there's always that, that downside, right? Typically, I think most bridge loans are about 2 points. So if you're taking out $80,000 to go purchase a home, from your existing place in that loan, you'd be paying $1,600 in fees. Plus, you'd also be paying interest on that loan for every month. Now, sometimes that interest will be financed into the loan. So, like, let's say you're paying, $400 a month in interest, and you held it for 3 months. Well, then, when you pay off that existing loan, you'd be 4 times 3 is 12 plus 16. You're at $2,800 that you're paying in fees at closing, plus the $80,000. So, like when you sell your existing home, you're paying $8,260, right? Or $8,280 to the bridge loan company, and they pocket that extra cash above the $80,000 that you had taken out, and that's how they keep in business and keep going, right? So again, very viable option, works really well for the people that it works with. It's not for everybody, but for those that it's for, it's a great product. Here's an alternative though, if you're looking to purchase a new home, and you are well qualified, you have a high income, and you have a little bit of cash saved up in the bank, right? So when I mean high income, I'm talking like probably 120 and above annually household income, people that are on the application. So let's say you're purchasing this new home and you have, let's say you're for this client, for an example, right? She owns her own home. Her fiance and her are applying together. They make about 120 to 130 a year together, right? She has about 20,000 saved currently, and 20 to 30K I think they collectively have. And again, they're going to make about $100,000 off the sale of their home. They wanted to go purchase around the 500,000 range, but now they scaled it back to about 330, right? So what they ended up doing is they're going to put down about 5% on that $330,000 home, which is like just over 15,000. I think it's like 17,000. So 330 times 0.05, $16,500. That's what they're going to put down. They're going to have some closing costs in there too, so they'll probably be right around 25,000, 26,000. And they have the cash to do that, right? Now, they can also qualify for both housing payments, right? They make enough money to do that. Their existing home payment's like $1,400 a month, and their new housing payment's going to be, around $3,000 a month or something like that, right? Now, let's say they go find their dream home this weekend, and they put an offer in on it, and they get it accepted next week. So the earliest they would get under contract. I would have them close out on May 1st. Now, the reason why that's important is there's a thing called prepaid interest. So whenever you close on a mortgage, every mortgage is due on the first of the month, but not every closing happens on the first of the month, right? So as mortgage lenders, we have to charge prepaid interest to get somebody to the first of that month, right? So if you close later in the month, then you get you pay less at closing. If you close earlier in the month, you pay a little bit more at closing for the prepaid interest because you're always getting charged to the following month. But you would also skip that extra month as well, right? So for example, she closed May 1st. First payment wouldn't be due till July 1 of this year. So basically 2 months, right? Now, the importance of that is, again, mortgage payments are paid for the month that we just left, whereas rent's paid a month in advance. So for a mortgage, whenever you close on it, you can realistically get between 45 and 60 days without a payment. So my advice to them is, if you want to buy a house that's competitive and people don't want to sell it to you and wait for you to sell your existing home, go ahead and buy it, qualify for both payments, close out on the first of the following month that we're going into. You won't have your payment until July if you close in May, on May 1st. And then now you have from pretty much like beginning of April until July. So basically 3 months for you to get your home ready, get a storage unit, move everything in there, list your home, start having showings on it, doing all of those things to really get your home sold before you would have to pay both payments, right? Again, there's always going to be a risk factor involved in any real estate transaction that you do, right? A lot of times people have these conversations of, oh, well, that's too risky. I don't want to get into a place where I have 2 housing payments. Or I don't want to do a bridge loan because what if my home doesn't sell in 4 months? Or, they're always going to bring something up, right? And I get it. I totally understand there's always a risk factor involved for sure. And don't do anything that you aren't comfortable with. However, that is, out as far as risk goes, it's pretty low risk comparatively. And, most clients don't have an opportunity to potentially sell their home, move in with relatives while they're finding a new place. And not every seller is going to want to accept your offer with you listing your home after the fact and waiting on you to hopefully sell your home at that point, right? So, again, risk tolerance, do your thing there. So they like that idea. They want to move forward with that option. Now, when they purchase that home, they're closing on May 1st. They're putting down 5%. They don't love their idea of their payment being $3,000. They wanted to be closer to about $2,400. So we're about $600 off. So at that point, once they do close on their existing home, I told them, I was like, on your first payment or your second payment, go ahead and put down the rest of the money that you got from the sale of your home up to this amount. Once you put this amount down, because you obviously, if you're selling a home, realistically, you should pay off like any credit cards first, any personal debt second, like anything that you have that's like consumer debt, pay that off. Like that's probably the best thing you can do with it. Second thing you could do is save some of that money, have at least 25 to 30K liquid. And then outside of that, you could put more money towards your housing, towards paying off your mortgage if you want to. But I digress. We're going through this. I said, hey, keep at least, 10 to 20K back, put the rest towards the house. If you did that, when you're taking out that mortgage, you're signing a 30-year loan. You're not signing a loan that you're going to pay X amount of dollars on per month, right? So if you pay down that balance significantly, you could then recast that loan. So essentially spread your payments back over those 30 years. And obviously if you've knocked a large debt in that mortgage, that would lower your monthly payment. So maybe it goes from $3,000 a month to $2,700 a month or $2,600 a month, right? In this case, their goal is 24. I think we were able to get it to line up almost exactly with where they wanted. Now, that's a really good way for you to save money on your loan with, again, not having to put down as much initially because you don't have it because you haven't sold your home yet, right? And so that worked out for them. That was a great option that they liked to have. There's a few things like you'll have to pay potentially up to $500 for the recast fee. But again, it's not a refinance. You're keeping your existing rate. You're not changing anything with your loan. You're just spreading that payment back over 30 years. So again, it doesn't really affect you in any way. They don't have to pull your credit. You're all good there. The other thing too is you'll pay it down. Most likely when you're doing your recast, you're going to pay it down past that 78% you need for mortgage insurance. A lot of people think it's 80%. It is 80% if you put down the full 20% at closing. You avoid mortgage insurance because you're only taking a loan out for 80% of your home's value. If you pay down the mortgage after the fact of closing, or your home goes up in value after the fact of closing, it's typically 78%. You can request it at 80. They're required to remove it at 78%. So you pay that down. You can request that to get removed. And they'll probably do an appraisal, make sure it's still worth the same. They'll check your balance, do all that stuff. And so I was able to help them save money at that point after the fact, just because, I know a few different loopholes to get this stuff done, right? So that is pretty much the example of bridge loans and purchasing a new home while still owning your own place that's existing. I hope that made sense to you guys. I hope that really, connected with you. If you are a consumer or a real estate agent and you know a client that is in a similar position, I'm more than happy to take great care of them and have a conversation and see, what they need to give them some education, right? My cell phone number is 219-689-3626, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that anybody has. I also send this out to my clients via email and my agents as well. So if you guys have a question, please shoot me an email back. My email is Jon, Jon, Wells, Wells, at leader, leader, the number 1.com. I am more than happy to put any questions people have on this show. And I'd like to actually do a question segment as well, so that way we can go through and give better education, right? So again, I hope this helps you all. God bless you. I'm hoping that there's a rant that comes across my head, at some point here. Oh yeah, actually, here's a good rant for you guys, because if you're just here for the real estate stuff, you're gonna log off now. The rest of it's just gonna be a rant. But again, I like to provide entertainment. I like to give more back than just the boring real estate stuff, right? So that's why we do a drink review. That's why we do a rant at the end, to kind of really put the perfect shell on the Oreo cookie that is this episode of this podcast, right? So here's a rant for you guys. It is March Madness tomorrow. Now this episode's going to go out on Tuesday, the following week, so you'll see it then. But tomorrow I'm excited because I'm hosting an event for my agents, my referral partners, and business people that I work with. And we are going to be looking at, we're going to be watching March Madness. So, what is the deal with all of these brackets, right? Like, I understand that is a thing. Like, people are looking at all this stuff, but I'm a very casual college basketball watcher, right? I really only watch it when I have money on them, and I only have money on them because my friend, who's a sports gambler, texts me saying, "Hey, take X, Y, and Z team money line, or take them, plus 2.5 or whatever it is, right?" So I'm putting together these brackets, and my office is doing one that's in Oak Brook, my corporate office. They're doing bracket challenges. It's like $20 an entry. My buddy hit me up. He's doing a bracket challenge, and it's like $25 an entry. I'm doing a bracket challenge for everyone at this event, and I'm just doing like no buy-in. I'm doing a giveaway though. But like, man, I get it that is a thing, but there's so many different teams to pick from and figure out and see who's gonna win who. And I don't even know how it works. And I'm over here like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna take Purdue to win it all by 5 points in the final game. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know, the like it would be so much easier if somebody could just give you like, hey, here's what most people have picked. And I know there's articles out there, and I know that I get all of that. Um, but like, still, what the heck, dude? Like, just give me a sheet. Give me a sheet so I can put that shit in. I can put it in my brackets, and I can put that together. And I don't have to worry about, is Illinois going to get upset by, Vanderbilt? I don't even know if that's a thing or not. But, I'm like, God dang, man. Like, I'm just trying to finish these brackets really quickly. And also, it takes so freaking long. It takes like 20 minutes to put a bracket together. And they're like, oh, yeah, unlimited entries. I'm like, are you shitting yourself, sir? Like, it took me 20 minutes to put the first one together. You think I'm doing another one? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, anyways, I hope that was like a good enough rant for you guys. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes. But anywho's, I'm gonna start putting this on Apple, and more than like Apple, YouTube, all that stuff, more than just Spotify. Because again, I have Spotify, but not everyone does. So I get that. I literally had a client tell me, she was like, I want to listen to your stuff, which again, God bless her. I appreciate her support. She's like, I want to listen to your stuff, but I don't have Spotify and I have no desire to get Spotify. I was like, all right, cool. Like, what platform is you on? How can I make this easier for you, right? She's like, well, I'm on YouTube, but I don't have an account and I don't subscribe to anything and I don't like anything. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, to each their own. It's all good. And yeah, she wants to live off the grid, and I respect that. I'm thinking about living off the grid too. Actually, one last rant for you guys. Gardening. It's my newest obsession. I am going to buy a bunch of raised flower beds, and I'm going to plant a bunch of stuff. Like, a bunch of stuff, because I am tired. I went to the grocery store the other day. I went to the grocery store. I had to get a couple things for a meal that I was making, and the meal required chives. Which, again, like, if you guys have ever seen me in person or seen a picture of me, it makes sense, right? I have a very punchable face. I look like a D-bag. Like, I would make sense that I eat chives, right? So I'm perusing the grocery store in the fresh section for some chives, and a small sprig of chives is $3.99. And I said, go F yourself, number one. And two, I am never paying $4 or $5 or whatever it was for chives. Like, get effed. No, absolutely not. And yeah. So again, like, I decided I'm gonna go grow my own vegetables and have my own garden. And that way I don't have to yeah, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I can save money, I can have better food, and yeah, I can avoid like all the pesticides and everything else. So I think it's gonna be great. I've been thinking about this for at least 30 minutes, and I am ready to move out on 5 acres and have like my own self-sufficient farm. So I grew up on a farm before, so I know what like the work that goes into it, and obviously it's not easy. But that's where my mindset's at right now. So again, like, I'd obviously still be doing loans, but it's also pretty far fetched. I'm gonna sell my house and move to the boonies, anytime soon. So, again, I have these like pipe dreams that I'll have for about 30 minutes, and then afterwards I'm like, that requires me to actually get up and like go do something besides work, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. So I'm pretty much lazy. I'm like super lazy with anything that's like not mortgage related. Like, I don't know, it's a bad thing. I'm very, very involved, very passionate about my job, and really don't care about much else. So if you guys need me, please, again, I gave you my contact info. Let me know. Shoot a comment on this episode, share it with a friend, and let's make the world a better place, one person at a time. I'll talk to you guys soon. Make it a great day. Bye.